You know, I just thought of, the last thing I remember worrying about you was when you were felled by a wasp, it said.
In Scotland.
And it didn't give very many of the details in the thing.
Well, I had the misfortune to have the sting go into the bloodstream.
Yeah.
And you see around here some of the most basic veins. So in about 10 minutes, I was hot and cold. I was all sort of alone in this motel. Hot and cold all over. Everything itched, my bottom of my feet. And then in about 10 more minutes, this lip was out to here and up here. So I then began to get a little worried. So they found a darling Scottish nurse who came over, and she said, oh, this is for a doctor. By then the arm, you can't believe, I've been stung by wasps all my life in camps in Maine as a kid, you know. The arm was right up to there, fire red, bright red, and a rock.
What do you mean a rock?
Well, it was just...
Hard?
It was a rock.
Yeah.
This took me about a week.
You could die from that. You know, people every year die.
If it ever gets up to the lymph gland, you die. It got up this far with me.
Gee. You know, you should get injections or something for that now, because you don't get immunity to insect
yes,
stings.
Yes, but you wouldn't have this. Once in a million years hit a main blood.
Oh, the fact that it hit the main...
Oh, yes, because a wasp, when it stings, you always put mud on it, you know. In the Maine woods camping, just mud is the greatest thing for any sting, bee sting or wasp sting. Take all the fire out immediately.
But the insect stings, you don't develop immunity. It goes the other way, and you can get...
I've just
the next
never
one
had
can
any
be
until
worse.
this darling little creature.
You could go into shock from that.
Oh, listen. If I hadn't gotten a doctor, I don't know what would have happened. The mouth went down in about a day. It was just frightening. I'm a wasp.
Did you see the wasp that did it?
Oh, yes, I killed it.
Yeah.
I finally killed it. But he really went in about 3 times.
Ooh.
He was under a dressing gown sleeve, you see, so he felt trapped. So he likes me even less.
Is it possible that Joan Crawford put it there? Sorry, I'm thinking of that movie.
No, that wouldn't be something she'd do. No.
No. I was thinking, of course, of the film.
No.
Say, this is sort of not a wasp.
No, not a wasp. A gun, maybe.
A what?
A gun, maybe, but not,
not a wasp. Why haven't you been victimized by your career? I mean, when you think of the people who have been, like Marilyn Monroe and Judy Garland and the people like that, can you figure out what it is in the people?
Well, it takes great discipline, and I think I was very fortunate in my upbringing. I think my New England background for the work I went into was extraordinary stabilizer, and I just couldn't. You know, I just couldn't. And I also was an extremely healthy person. You know, I didn't have to do this. And, you know, enthusiastic, loved my work. I really, in that area, had no problems. No reason to escape with dope or pills or alcohol or anything. And you can't work the way I did for 15 or 20 years and do any of that. It's just impossible.
There aren't a lot of people who've been killed by Hollywood, though, aren't there? I don't know
yes,
how many.
and in a way, I understand it. I don't think probably there's any work in the world that involves nerves as much as public performing. I think you'll agree with me on that. I think it isn't physical. It's this terrible nervous strain of wanting to do it right and being scared you won't. Well, what it takes out of you is astronomical. You know that. And when you think you do it years and years and years, and if you're not a very strong person physically, you're going to have to need something to, you know, get you on that set in the morning. Yeah. And you're going to then you don't sleep and you don't. I just was lucky. I didn't have that problem. So I can't feel superior in any way to the tragedies. I mean, for a talent like Miss Garland, it's just tragic. They don't come along like that very often. And it's just sad that she didn't treasure it more and take care of it more, you know.
Do you feel
but it's big discipline. Oh. It really is. You've got to be an enormously disciplined person.
There's certain people who have that kind of, you call it a sort of Yankee, I don't know
Well,
what
I
fiber
do think
or
that's a
something,
perfectly marvelous, you know, it's a tough upbringing. This is not a red carpet world in New England, you know.
Would you say Katharine Hepburn has it?
Katharine Hepburn is the same background, the same type person.
Yeah.
Same type person, enormous discipline.